So, hi. I thought I'd do a plant tour of all the plants that I want to sell one day, which are specifically rarer varieties of plants. A lot of them are monsteras, and some of them are anthuriums and begonias as well. And by begonias I mean just one, because I only have one begonia. And welcome to Being Planted. I'm Sky Crystal, and I have no idea where I'm going with this. So I'll start on this side. And please excuse my actual names, pronunciation of and stuff. This is a Monstera acaciagensis. I propagated it because it came out when I got it. It had a long stem of like baby leaves, and now it's produced a big boy leaf. So I'm very happy with that, and it's gone its way to its third, and it's got another growth point there. So that's exciting. I've got a prop box filled with goodies, and I can't wait to see this one grow, because it's like the changes that they all go through. A lot of them tend to fenestrate as well, so and get weirder shaped as they get older and mature more. And then I don't know how I'm going to do this one, but this one's giving me out a new leaf, and it's got a bulky root system and Anthurium renaissance variegated. And the way the leaves grow, they come out tiny like this, and then they just expand from nothing to like some super sized leaf like this. So we've got that to look forward to. I could propagate it, but I don't want to. I'm just going to repot it and see how it grows. I want it to get really, really big, and then eventually when it produces the seed thing, I think it's an inflorescence, I'm going to basically propagate it that way. But I need to get another one, so I might have to propagate them eventually, but I'm going to wait until it's a little bit bigger, and then I can do a bottom stem cut and then top stem, and split them there, because those could turn into roots. So hoping for the best with this one, and hoping that it comes back variegated, because look how beautiful that leaf is with the variegation. And it looks like this one has some like element of variegation to it, which is good. So it's in the right environment, I believe, because some of the previous leaves were a little bit darker with minimal variegation. So hope for the best. I reorganised all the shelves and moved all the like rarer plants in here to try and make it a little bit more simplified, and then I moved them all around for the aesthetics purposes. And I'm so proud. It's perfect the way it is. I'm so proud. And then we've got a Monstera pinipartita, I think is how you say it, and it is just produced this huge leaf, so it's very happy, and it's got loads of roots growing on the bottom. I'm going to repot them into like 12-ounce cups very soon. I'm going to go to the festival first, and then come back and get some Soil Ninja and everything, and then do a massive repotting session. So I'm going to talk more about the Soil Ninja stuff that I use, the soils and the components and things like that. And then I will also message them and see what information that they can give me that they would like to share as well. So I will do that. And then yeah, this one, I think it fenestrates as it gets older, but I'm not entirely sure. So it's a new one for me. A lot of these are new for me because they're rare, and I couldn't say no. So, and I've got about 100 at the moment, which is great. And some of them started off as cuttings, like single leaf cuttings, like this one for example, which is rooted an extravagant amount. This one I don't have to repot. It's just going to live in this little pot here. And that is a Monstera Linacia mint marble, or lime marble, I think. Let me double check that. Lime marble, and it's doing the weird stiletto toe thing with the leaf, and I'm scared, so I'm just going to leave it for a bit and see if it grows out. But it's produced a new baby leaf, and it's beautiful, and it's quite happy. It was on my kitchen windowsill, but I've moved it in here so that it's a little bit more manageable with the lighting and stuff, to see if it sizes up like this leaf. So that's what I'm going to keep an eye on. And I'm currently making a sketchbook with illustrations to make a follow along journey of all the different plants that I have. I think I'm going to split it into monsteras and then anthuriums and then etc, etc. Yeah, so this is another Monstera crotii, and it's just produced this leaf from a single cutting, and it's growing roots and it's happy, and it's in the Monstera and Philodendron Soil Ninja mix. It was also in the kitchen, but the leaf didn't look 100%, so I am moving it in here to see if that helps. And then we have this beautiful one, which I bought on Facebook Marketplace, and it's a Monstera adansonii variegated, and it's just producing all white leaves. It was like up here with like a really leggy stem with no leaves whatsoever, and then I chopped the 3 leaves off the top. It's produced another 2 leaves there, and then all of these leaves. This was a single leaf cutting, and it's producing this leaf now. And then this beautiful almost half moon leaf came out, and it's just growing loads of leaves. And you can see the root selection at the back in the moss pole, which is really satisfying. I really love this plant so much. And it's just really giving houseplant. Easy to care for as well. I would recommend it if you want to get into rarer plants or like variegated plants. This I don't really have any issues with at all. It just grows. And this was all in about 1.5 to 2 months growth, when it was just a stem and a single leaf cutting in there. So highly recommend. This one's doing really well. It's a Monstera species Ecuador or sp.ecuador. I'm not entirely sure what the SP is. I think it's species, but I'm not sure. I'll look that up. And I took a insurance prop from it, and I put it in the prop box, the prop box, and then only did that today. But it's like produced about 3 new leaves or 2 new leaves at least since I've had it. And it's up the moss pole. It's trying to root into the moss pole, so I'm just going to keep on top of that. And I love it. It's kind of velvety, but not really velvety. It's like in between a velvet and a shiny leafed Monstera. I do believe that they get fenestrations as well, like this one for example. So I'm interested to see how this one grows. And I'm going to extend the moss pole as soon as I get some new moss poles, and then just like see how it sizes up as well. And I moved it in here today. I'll see how they grow in here, because the other ones are doing really well, and I'm happy with how they're growing, and I want to see if the others do the same. Monstera No ID Velvet. This is a beautiful plant. I want to put this up a moss pole as well, and I'm going to transfer it from sphagnum moss into the Soil Ninja Soil Monstera and Philodendron mix. I love this plant. I've got a little snipping of it as well growing over there in the corner. Super simple to grow. It's produced these 2 leaves since I got it, and I've had all of these plants for about maximum 5 months, minimum a month, and they're just happy. So yeah, rare plants. This is Monstera obliqua Marco. I had 1 yellowing leaf which I took off today, but it's produced these 2 magical leaves and this one as well since I've had it. And it's 1 snipping with a massive root system. You can kind of see it there. I couldn't even like push soil into this area, so it's beautiful. I love the furry little the roots and stuff like that. So I'm going to transfer more of them into 12-ounce cups and 16-ounce cups. So this one will upgrade to a 16-ounce cup, and then eventually I will maybe put it into an actual pot, but I'm not sure yet. That's when it goes on the moss pole. It will go on a moss pole at some point, but I'm going to let it just like freestyle grow instead for a little while. But it's beautiful. I'm obsessed with Monstera obliquas. The fenestrations give me so much joy, and I'm so excited about this, like all of them. And this one, right, this one needs more water. I don't know, where's my watering thing? So I kind of water these sometimes every day, depending on the heat. I water them as needed is probably the best way to say it. So once the soil dries out, I water it. And that's another reason why I like clear cups. Some of my plants have got holes to extract some water if there's excessive water, but some of the plants are like growing in a kind of an element of boggy conditions in the sphagnum moss, and they seem to be thriving with it. So I don't really want to remove the water from it because they're rooted really quickly. So I think the best thing to do is experiment with watering. I tend to try and spray them as much as I can, but I'm also I've been a bit lazy at the moment. So I'm going to split this one up into separate pots because that is fair. There's 2 in the pot and they're both producing new leaves. These 2 are the newest leaves, and this one as well. And look how tiny that leaf is. So don't be worried about the tiny leaves that they produce, because it can produce this afterwards. So as long as you kind of manage the conditions appropriately, this doesn't get full sun. It's just a bright room. I think it could be brighter, but because monsteras tend to like grow under canopies, they get dappled light instead of like full sun, which I think is more ideal for them anyway inside. So they get an afternoon batch of sun where it comes round and it hits them for about 30 minutes, if that, and then the rest of it is diffused light throughout the day. But yeah, watering, I have this contraption which I love, especially for increasing the humidity. I try and keep the humidity up above 50% definitely. Sometimes it drops to 35% humidity when it's really warm, and that's when I tend to water them. As long as the soil is the appropriate amount of moist and damp, not like sodden, but some of them, as I said, some of them are actually thriving in that kind of environment and growing really well. For example, some of them dry out a little bit more quickly than others. I think it's based on the root system and how large the leaves are. The smaller plants I try and keep watered as much as possible throughout, so I can water daily, but in the winter it will change. So I'm trying to find a fine balance. So what I'm trying to say is you have to get to know each individual plant for what its needs are, and if you're not sure, you can always look it up. I would say water when it dries out, and if it kind of crinkles a little bit, add more water into the environment. Spraying them helps, so I spray it every day so it gets a little dollop of water. But as I said, that boggy condition with the sphagnum moss, which is a different substrate altogether to soil, so a different environment as well, it produced, these were just like single stem cuttings with no leaves attached. Well, the leaves were yellowing actually, but it's produced these 3 leaves on the biggest one, and it's thriving. It was in the kitchen, so it didn't get any sun at all apart from diffused light from the windows. So I've moved it in here because I think it's a similar environment, but it's a little bit more easy to manage. Monstera obliqua Los Teos. I love this plant so much. I'm getting a label maker as well, so I'm gonna have a label printer, label maker, and I'm gonna label all of the cups and everything so I know exactly which plant is which, and I'm so excited. But yeah, this one's growing really well. It's happy in the environment. It dries out, I water it, and sometimes they dry out over a day period, and I can water twice in a day, and then I forget about them for a couple of days, and then it just, try and see what works for you. And if you need needier plants, get ferns, because they are, and calatheas. You should be fine with learning about the plants. They tell you visually when they need water. So the leaves droop, they kind of become really soft, and then they plump out when you've watered them properly. And you can get rid of excess water by just like pouring it out or putting holes in the bottom so you know that it's gone through to the bottom. There's loads of different techniques, and I'll make a video about watering at some point when I have worked out the space and the plants in the space a little bit better, because I have been a little bit rogue with it recently. Monstera obliqua Muyana variegated. This is its newest leaf, and it was a single leaf cutting. It's got really chunky boy roots going on there. You can kind of see it, and it's super happy, and it will fenestrate as well. But look at that variegation. Isn't that stunning? And I'm quite glad that it just produced 1 leaf without any fenestration, so there's more like colour to it. So that's really beautiful. Yeah, this one has got holes in the bottom, so it can just basically like release any extra water, and it seems to be doing quite well. Once it fenestrates, I think it'll be a little bit more mature, so I can see how that grows own and see how the watering technique changes, because it does change per season. And then this one's really cool because it was grown from actual seed. So I'm really excited to see this one grow. It's a Monstera obliqua Bolivian, and I've just got it in like a hummus cup. I did water it, but I'll water it a little bit more so it's like dense. and then I don't have to water tomorrow. I can just spray them and increase the humidity around it, because it's been really warm, so it's harder to tell. Like there's no routine whatsoever. It's just like as needed, and I do water every couple of days roughly, just for my own personal needs to relax, because it's one of the things that makes me relax. So, but yeah, this one's really cute. I love it, and it's just a tiny little seedling that seems to be very happy, and I can't wait to see this one mature as well. All of them go through a really beautiful growth phase, and then they become very different with the fenestrations and stuff. So I'm going to work on doing some illustrations so you can see the growth process through it. And then one that's similar to a Monstera obliqua Peru, but it's actually a Monstera obliqua Yasuni. When they mature, it's a little bit harder to tell the difference between them. But when they're immature and like juvenile, like this one is, it started as a single leaf cutting, and these are the 2 leaves that's produced into being in my care. And they don't get fenestrations until they're a little bit more mature, but it looks similar to a Monstera obliqua Peru, which is like the one that's severely wholly or fenestrated, and it's over here, so I'll get to that one in a minute. And then we've got this one right at the back here. This one also needs more water. This is a Monstera obliqua French Gianna. Produce a really strange looking leaf with a little fenestration going on there, and then one without any fenestrations at all. So it's been trying to grow properly, but it's doing its thing, so I'm not really worried. It's got a decent root system, so I'm going to upgrade to a 12-ounce cup eventually. Some of these are kind of similar looking, but they are different, and I'm like, ah! So I'm learning them, and I'm grateful that they came with actual labels, because, oh my God, I get stressed without them. I'm like, oh, which one's which? I don't know. But with the drawing, I remember them better, so I'm going to do that. Yeah, this one's great. Should mature, should go up the moss pole eventually. So I'm going to get grow lights eventually, but for the summer, I'm not really worried. I'm going to get a selection of different types of grow lights to compare and contrast, and then I'd like to put one up there so it hits all of those plants there. And then I'm going to get a floor lamp and put it on the table there, and then one little lamp, like a strip light underneath there, and then strip lights on those, and then another one up there to get all of these plants here. They're going to be grow down ones, the ones that I hang up, and the floor lamp, and then the other ones I'm just going to get off Amazon that I've used before, and they work really well. This is a Santo Domingo Monstera obliqua Santo Domingo. That leaf gives me pure joy. What is that? There's a little bug hiding on it. I don't know what kind of bug that is, but it seems to be fine. And it produced this leaf, which was really cute. And then this beautiful one came out, but I think I needed to adjust some of the conditions, so I'm going to repot it, and I'm going to keep it in the 12-ounce cup, but give it a different selection of soil, because I think this one definitely came with sphagnum moss when I first got it, and the leaves mature reasonably quickly. It's sizing up decently, so, and it was in the kitchen, a lot of them were in the kitchen, but then I moved them in here, so I'll see how they grow in here. Because I've got this beautiful little shelf for that reason, to put plants on, and I am loving how it looks aesthetically. I'll start with this one because I brought it out earlier. As I said, this one's a little bit more boggy, and it seems to be thriving because the leaves sized up and they produce really quickly. Not sure how it's growing, but it seems happy. So yeah, and you can just do that to like remove some extra water if there is any. But honestly, the sphagnum moss, yeah, there we go. The sphagnum moss, it just holds the water really well, and it's been growing so much better than when I've just left it to dry out in the sphagnum, well, not dry out in the sphagnum moss, but like sometimes it would be a bit drier. So I leave it more wet than most people suggest, and I don't know, I think all the plants work differently. It's just one of those, isn't it? So you don't stress out too much about it. Having a routine with watering, just get to know the plants, which is the whole point. So you learn more that way, I think, and it probably doesn't come across that way, but I am learning quite a bit. And as I said, I've only had these plants for about 5 months at the most, and I feel a little bit more confident within myself because I'm not putting so much pressure on myself to manage plants in a really structured routine, rather than just like learning to acknowledge the fact that I'm looking at a plant, I know what it needs just by knowing the energy of it, if that makes sense. So Monstera Suriname, it might not be an obliqua, so I'll double check that. It's doing well, it's cute, and I love it. And it grows really fast. And then we've got this Monstera Obliqua Xanthospatha. Really cute little plant, kind of velvety. Don't know what it looks like when it matures, so I'm going to try and find that out and then do an illustration to go alongside this one. But it's doing really well. It's like producing leaves, so I'm happy. Just so soft. It's so soft, and I just really like the textural value for plants because they're all different, and I don't know anything about this plant, so I'll learn. And then Monstera Aureopennata. I don't know what AFF stands for, but we'll work that one out one day, won't we? And again, another velvety textural feel with the leaf. I don't know where these come from, so I'm going to look into them. But it seems to be growing really well, especially because I was worried about the lighting in here, and I'm actually much better now knowing that the plants actually appreciate it way more, because I'm not having any problems as such in this space. So I moved more of them here. And then over here we've got Monstera Obliqua Missahuali. I don't know how to say that properly, but it's another like velvety leafed plant. I would like to put it up on a moss pole because it's on the shelf. I don't really tend to put them up onto anything apart from these sticks that it came with. So it's doing really well. Loads of roots going on at the bottom. The soil, the way it's mixed, is beautiful. I'll upgrade this pot to a 12-ounce pot or cup and then see how it grows for that. I might just transfer some of the soil because it likes the soil and then add it around just so that it's still got the beneficial and I don't waste any soil either. So it might be a little weird mix. I'll see how I feel on the day. But yeah, it's a very easy grower. Super easy grow so far, and this is another one that has excess water that comes out the bottom, so I suppose that maybe from the previous grower that I bought it from, they probably learned that some plants prefer to be a little bit like more densely surrounded by water than some of them where they prefer to have the excess water removed, because these have rocks in them as well, perlite and stuff in there, so it's a little bit more aerated. But yeah, we'll see how they grow. This one, Monstera Membranaceae, South Pacific lowland form. Produced a strange little leaf. Love that. I love this plant, but it's happy. It's a single leaf cutting that's produced, now it's like a little established plant. It's beautiful. I love it. When it matures, I'm excited to see how it grows when it's matured, because they do change as well. So I'll look into that, and then I'll do another video to see how it's matured in that space and time. So we can look forward to that. And then this beautiful one, Monstera Siltepecana El Salvador. This is its newest leaf. I'm so proud of it. I don't know, the silver aspects of it is so stunning. Like absolutely beautiful, and it's just got a really nice shape to it. So I think it's a very happy plant. I'm going to upgrade all of these to 12-ounce cups and see how they go, because I kind of want to have a uniform thing, and then just update the soil. I'll keep the original soils in with them so that they've got the beneficial additions of that, so it doesn't get too much shock. So it'll just be packed around with new soil, and then it can grow out as it needs to. And then we've got this one, which is it's just produced an all white leaf, and it did have a bit bigger of a leaf on. This is the Monstera Adansonii Ghost. Need to keep on top of it. It needs like higher humidity, I think, and then also it dries out a little bit quicker because it was in the bathroom, so I moved it in here, and it seems to be doing better in here than it was. So it's going to produce another leaf soon, but they can grow with white. They can, as long as you keep it in the appropriate environment. It doesn't mean it doesn't grow and it's lacking chlorophyll. It's just a different type of chlorophyll, I'm assuming, that it's producing. So I'll look into that and research that a little bit more, and then make a video on that, so we can all learn about that, because it's fascinating. the Pride and Joy, my Monstera obliqua Peru. This one's beautiful. It's producing runners. I tried to propagate it and because of the runners, but then, you know, they're beautiful anyway. It looks like it's looking for some light, so I moved it in here so it gets a better base of light throughout the day. It's a little bit more uniform, the lighting in here, and then it gets some full sun in the afternoon from this window here, and then it comes round, which it's doing right now. But this one's great. There's two in the pot. I was so happy when I got that when I got this again, and I love this plant so much that I'm going to tattoo this leaf to my body. So I'm doing that, and it's booked in, so I'm going to get that done at some point, and we'll see what happens with the runners, because apparently they can eventually produce leaves. We're just severely impatient, so we'll see how that goes. But it usually means that it's looking for light, some soil, and they also use them as connectors to other plants to gain information from them, which is interesting. So it's like a communication device. So I don't really want to propagate it anymore, so I'm just going to let it grow and see what happens. The Monstera Adansonia archipelago, how beautiful are these leaves. Again, some drying, some like crisping. It's not even crispy, that's why I'm like, what is going on? They're just browning on the leaves, but this is producing the newest leaf, so I know it's going to be fine. I'm hoping that it does produce a few more green leaves as well, just for like the variety of the beauty of it. This one's in sphagnum moss and leca, and it seems to be doing quite well. This is one of them that I think is better with a little bit more water, because of the leaves being a little bit lighter in colour. It's beautiful. I've had this for a little while. I've wanted it for about 5-6 years, possibly longer. So when I got it, I'm still so happy. So it's beautiful. Monstera aurea. This one's kind of reverted over here. So you can see that it looks like a normal Monstera Adansonii. But then with these ones, you can see the new leaves are absolutely like stunning with the variegation that has got going on. It's subtle with some of the leaves, but then as it hardens from being a new leaf, it kind of develops a little bit more, which I've found from this. But I'm not sure how to manage it properly, because I've had an aurea with really yellow variegation before, and then I ended up selling it, so I was really happy to get this one back in my collection. So I'm gonna keep it there and see how it grows, and I'm gonna see if the reverted one isn't reverted, and see if I can bring it back using the grow lights as well. Just gonna water this a little bit more because it seems a bit dry. And then the Monstera Esqueletos. That one was like a little baby plant, which is producing much bigger leaves now. Super happy with that. Very happy. I am a little bit like skeptical of whether or not they're both Monstera Esqueletos. I don't know why. I just get a feeling that it's like a giant Linaceae, but we'll see how it grows, because it's producing different leaves now and it looks a little bit more like a juvenile Esqueleto. So I'm happy about that, because before I was like, why does it look like a Linaceae? I don't understand. So yeah, plants go through changes, man. It's having a glow up as we speak. And then yeah, so it's growing. It's a little bit leggy, more leggy than I'd like it to be. So I'm gonna try and propagate that at some point, but I'm gonna separate them into 2 separate pots at some point, and then see how it grows that way with some soil as well, because it's just in sphagnum moss at the moment, but it's doing its thing. One was rooted slightly, but they've rooted so much better now. So, and I left them in the sphagnum moss just because it was easier for me. I didn't have enough soil, and they're growing really well, so I'm happy with that. Anthurium pallidiflorum. Look at that leaf that is just produced. Is the longest leaf that it's got so far. I'm really excited about the next one because it's just sizing up really well. This did size up in the bathroom, but I moved it in here because I thought that it needed a little bit more space to like branch out. So, and it's growing really bizarrely, so not really sure what to do about that. Might propagate it and see if I can like take the top cut, but I'm going to wait for the next new leaf to come out and see how that grows instead, and then I'll see how I feel, and then I can have 2 of them instead of just 1. So, because it's really leggy at the bottom, and then I could propagate it and then have more. So, but as I said, I wanted to mature a little bit more and size up, especially with that like 30 centimetre leaf almost, which is great. I love this leaf so much. It's like a sword. I don't know. It's just beautiful. I love it. And an Anthurium Bakeri, which is doing really well. It's a little seedling. It's happy. It's doing its thing. It's got a mixture of leca, some chunky orchid bark, and some stuff in there. So I'm gonna upgrade the pot and see if it sizes up eventually, because I think I need to do that for all of them. I want them to size up so I can propagate them and make more plants. And then I've also got a Anthurium Gracile, which is doing well. It's like a tiny little baby. It's kind of sizing up with this new leaf, and this one's the most recent leaf, and it's cute. It's got sphagnum moss and then also some soil that's going on there, but yeah, it just needs a little bit more time, I think. And then I'll pot it up as well, and it'll do well. And that is almost all of them. I've got the Anthurium vitirifolium variegated seedling. It's so cute. It's so beautiful. It's just got like variegation. I want to take this leaf off, but I haven't yet because I'm just leaving it to just be its best self. But yeah, it's beautiful. I think it's not had as much variegation on the newest leaf, so I'm hoping that the new leaf comes out a little bit more variegated. If not, I'll move it into somewhere else, or just like get grow lights and then see how it grows that way. This is a Monstera Cearana Hawaii. You can tell that it's a Hawaii because it's a little bit flatter at the top rather than a Monstera deliciosa, which comes out more so like a heart shape, and it's beautiful. I've got another cutting that's produced a new leaf already. This one's growing a little bit slower. I'm not sure what this plant is. I have no idea what this plant is. I think it might be to do with this plant, but I'm not sure at the same time. So we'll see how that grows. Rooting at the bottom, so I'm happy that it's rooting. But I'm going to try and produce as many of these as possible because they're quite rare. So when I found it, I was like, oh, I need that plant. We've got this begonia, Super Universe, which is the begonia that broke me into buying a begonia again, because all the begonias I had prior to this, I didn't know how to look after. So this one is doing its thing. It's happy. I really don't want it to die, so I suppose I'm trying harder. But look at that variegation of the silver spotting and stuff. Like, it's so shiny. It's so beautiful. And the leaves, they're slightly crispier, so I try and keep on watering this one and keeping it moist at all times because it's awkward. And this leaf is like less variegated with spots, and this leaf is like super variegated with spots, and it's like pure sacred geometry vibes going on there with the swell and whatnot. So this is one of my favorite begonias I've ever seen in my life, and I'm holding it in my hand, so I feel very lucky to have it. And I will propagate it one day, but it's not going to happen anytime soon until it's like big. Pot that up as well in some soil. I've got it in my basket at the moment, so I'm happy about that. Some of these are fine. Yeah, that's pretty much all of them apart from the ones in the bathroom, so I'll take you through to there. And here we've got the Monstera Linacia variegated narrow form. The fact that I got a narrow form variegated one makes me so happy, so I can't wait till this one grows. Tried to propagate it, then I ruined it. So the actual prop was just like, so grateful to have this one. It's getting a bit leggy, so I'm hoping that it produces like this growth point and this growth point to hopefully they produce leaves eventually and branches out. But look how stunning that variegation is. Wait, look at that. Isn't it beautiful? So I can't wait for these to actually fenestrate as well because they are beautiful. And then I've got Monstera Kunzo White, produced an all white leaf, and I am all right with that. And it does have like dappled variegation on it as well. And I'm a little bit nervous about the fact that it's got just an all white leaf, but it's actually doing really well. So I'm happy, and it's sized up a decent amount. And I am going to propagate this, but when it's much, much bigger. And I might just buy them in because they're a little bit less. They're rare, but they're not. It's not unheard of that you can't really find them anywhere. So you can find them on pretty decent websites and stuff like that, so they're decent, and they are a little bit more pricey as well, but I think for like that aesthetic, it's beautiful. And then I've got a tiny little baby Monstera Deliciosa Aurea, which is like more of a yellow and lime green kind of colour vibe going on. She's beautiful, I love her. She's sized up a decent amount as well, because it was just these 3 leaves, those 2 and then this one, and then I produced this one, and it's really variegated, and this one's almost half moon. I love this plant so much. This is a Monstera, I believe it's a Praeton Mesa. It's produced a tiny leaf, so I've got hope that it will produce a bigger leaf, but it's beautiful. It's rooted really well now. It was a single leaf cutting without like a grow thing on it, without the growth point that has just produced this leaf now. So I'm really happy with the progress that it's made in the past 4 months, because I was like patiently waiting whilst it was just in water acclimating for the first like month, and then I put it in soil, and then it started to produce a leaf. So I might propagate it and put it in the prop box, but I want it to grow as well, so I'll see how quickly it grows. And then I've got a Monstera Barrii. This one's really interesting actually, because the leaf curls up when it needs more water, and then it flattens out when it's had enough water. So you can kind of learn from different plants how they look and feel, and it gets really soft when it's not had enough water, and curly, which is similar to some other philodendrons that I've had before, but producing a new leaf because it was a single leaf cutting as well, and it's in a tiny little pot. So I'm going to upgrade the pot as well, but it's rooted really well, so I'm happy about that. That one changes and fenestrates, so does this one, and so it's going to be interesting to see how they do. This is a Monstera Deliciosa Bulbasaur. The name, that's why I bought it, not going to lie. And also it's got a weird shaped leaf, and I saw it for the price that I got it for, which was really decent, so I had to say yes. And it's doing really well, so I'm hoping it produces a new leaf soon. This one is a Monstera Green Stem Adansonii, and it produced a leaf. I was really worried that it wasn't going to, and I'd just be stuck with it being like sad, but it's actually doing much better in here than it was in the kitchen. So I moved it in here and it produced its leaf, and it's happy now. So we'll leave it in here with its friends. And then we've got a Monstera Linacia Mint. I need to remove this the first leaf that it had, because it's kind of yellowing and getting crispy and stuff. But it's doing really well. I kind of need to treat some of these with like a spa day. So I'm going to do that at some point and over the next like month or so. And then just like wash all the leaves down and stuff. And I use Faith in Nature, my shampoo that I have. It's literally just a moisturising shampoo that's all natural, and it works beautifully. So I've been using that in a spray bottle. I spray it down, I wipe it with the gloves that I've got, and then it's good to go, just to remove any like discrepancies, I suppose. This one, I can't wait till this fenestrates and gets a little bit more mature. And then it wasn't living its best life. I was trying, but it just didn't work very well. So it's got crispy leaves, and it lost its newest leaf, but a new one is on the way, so I have hope. And I moved it in here. It's a Monstera grassalis. So forgive me, little plant, but it's beautiful regardless. It's doing really well because it's going to produce a new leaf and then remove the old leaves, and it should carry on doing well in here. And then I've got a Monstera Napo that I propagated, and it's produced a new leaf since, so I'm really happy with that. And it's stunning. And the fenestrations are beautiful. I think it is the Oblique variety of kind of thing, but I'm not 100% sure, so I'll double check. Let me have a look. Oblique Napo, yeah. So part of the Oblique part of the family, and it's stunning. It's a really fast grower actually. I've got 3 now that are propagated, and they're doing really well. Basically, I'm just going to show you. I've got a plants list of all the plants that I have. almost all of them, but this is my research sketchbook that I am busy doing. It's got plants inventory, research pages, and a few other things. That's like all the different monsteras that I've got, and then it goes into philodendrons. And yes, I do plan on filling the whole page with different plants, so I'm really excited about that. And then I've got a prop box tracker, but I haven't even filled it in. And then I'm going to be doing illustrations like this with notes to take, and everything like that, with the name of the plant, what it looked like when I first got it, and then a mature version of it from different angles as well, and then updated from where it is. I haven't yet to do this because I didn't realize how many plants I had, but yeah, basically that's what I'm doing. That's the Monstera obliqua Bolivian, the seedling that I showed you, and that's a more mature version of it. So I'm working my way through it with all of these. I will do more of them, and then I will show you as I go along, if that's okay. That's the Monstera obliqua Los Teos. And then, yeah, so I'm going to do that, and then hopefully be able to give you, like, design little cards to go with all the plants so you can collect them, like postcard sized ones with an illustration of the plant and then some information about it. That is my eventual goal. Even if you just want to collect the postcards and send them as postcards, that would be cute. So I'm going to try and do that. And I've been designing some stickers. I've been looking into different things so I can get prints made at home, and loads of other stuff, but I'll do a separate video of what I've done so far, including the budget and everything like that for being planted. Yeah, basically it's going well. Slow and steady wins the race. So, and it's not really a race, it's just like waiting for the plants to grow and myself to grow along with them. So I'm just taking it easy and steady. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, and thank you for watching the plant tour. Bye.